Hello, everybody.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
Hey, welcome to the Food Origins Podcast. I'm here with Ryan Gallego, a.k.a. Chef Ryan at Trifecta Cooks. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, thanks for coming, bro.
Yeah, we are on location, too, in Sunnyvale at his, what do you call this, your prep kitchen?
A little ghost kitchen, tasting bar.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's been a long time coming. Appreciate your time, and you got a lot going on, and we got a lot to say today and share some really exciting news. So let's get into it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Tell us where you're from. Tell us your background, your ethnic background, all that good stuff.
Filipino when I'm not on the clock. I am from the Bay Area. I'm Filipino. Moved out here when I was 3 and just been in Milpitas, San Jose for the majority of my my life.
Awesome. And you pretty much, you said you moved here when you were super young, right?
Yeah, when I was 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really remember much, but I know I arrived in the States with a sick-ass fresh suit. I was dripping.
Nice. So, do you go by Ryan, or is there another name you go by?
I was actually named after my father, Alberto. And then my parents gave me Ryan as a nickname. Growing up, the first day of school, first day of like every like class, like you would have to like, the teachers would call up on you and be like, Alberto Gallego, are you here? And I'd be like terrified to be like, oh, I go by Ryan, just because it's totally different from Alberto. And everyone was like, how'd you get Ryan? And all these questions. And I just like, I don't want to even talk about it. So it grew on me as I got older, but people, friends, family, they know me by Ryan.
Nice. And what'd you eat growing up?
Growing up, I ate a lot of Filipino food. Lumpia, adobo, Filipino spaghetti. And we also ate, top ramen, Spam, stuff like that. Pizza. Yeah.
Yeah. What were your likes and dislikes? Is there stuff that you were like, oh man, I love this, and then other stuff you're like, I just don't eat that?
At first I was like really into a lot of frozen foods when I was younger. It was different because I was always around Filipino food. But as I got older, I grew. I enjoyed Filipino food more than all the frozen stuff. So I started hating the frozen food, top ramen, all that stuff, and enjoyed like home cooked meals.
Yeah, it's funny how that is, right? You get talked into those TV dinners and like the freaking corn and like mashed potatoes in a plastic container,
Cardboard mashed potatoes, cardboard meat.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's how you make real mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
You never want to go back.
Oh, never.
Yeah. What was your first impact with food, do you think, that eventually led you to want to become a chef?
I want to say my dad was an inspiration, along with my uncles and my older cousins. Growing up, we had a lot of Filipino parties. And so just being around that environment, being able to help like in the kitchen, cook rice, roll, lumpia, stuff like that was always like intriguing, was always an interest. But I didn't really think about like becoming a chef as a young kid. It kind of grew on me as I got older.
Did you think about doing something else?
My mom, she always wanted me to become a nurse, but I couldn't stand blood for some reason. I would like get disgusted, or like it would just make my stomach, upset my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah. Make you hurl.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about any other professions?
Man, I wanted to be a basketball player.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the height.
It's not always the height, but yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
But I was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was able to shake some fools, and I had a pretty good jumper.
Yeah.
But nothing really. I I was just still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to own my own business someday. But yeah, nothing really like excited me.
So what do you think, growing up and stuff, and then, as you got older, what led you, because did you end up going to culinary school?
I did go to culinary.
Yeah. So what brought you from, kind of growing out of, kind of some of the ideas, right? Everyone wants, I love Major League Baseball. I wish I was an MLB player.
Yeah, yeah.
Just don't have it. If you don't have it, you got to pick something else. So what led you from, kind of deciding to go to culinary school? Yeah. What kind of led up to that?
So after high school, I went to
Yeah, there you go.
I went to community college, just to still figure out what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was cooking a lot at home for friends and stuff like that. And then I actually saw a commercial for the culinary school in San Francisco. And this was like, I want to say I was like 21 or 20. I was 20 years old. I wanted to move out the house. You know? And then I saw this opportunity and I was like, maybe I should like look into it. So I went with my mom. I brought my 2 cousins along to go check it out with me. And after we got that tour at the CCA, the California Culinary Academy, I was like, yeah, I want to move out to the city. The city was like something new. And it was an opportunity to get out of the house.
Yeah. Yeah. So you ended up going to CCA?
I went to the CCA.
How long is that program?
It was I want to say like 2.5-year program. So we went in 2002, graduated 2005. Yeah, it was a dope experience, living in the city, especially with my 2 cousins, Leon and Jason. We had this 2-bedroom apartment on Van Ness and Chestnut. And my cousin Jason, the younger one, he had to take over the living room. So we converted the living room into like a bedroom. He had a curtain.
Little separation.
His section.
Yeah.
So he took like the dining room. We put like a little curtain up there. And me and my cousin had the rooms. Yeah, it was just like, it was good times. A lot of good experiences. Met a lot of good people.
That's awesome. I mean, you did say we. So did Jason take both of them took the?
Yeah, they both decided to check it out and pursue that career. Yeah, which was pretty dope.
What do you think is the best thing about it?
The best thing from the school was just meeting a lot of great people throughout the journey, and really like, imagining myself in the field, in the career, and see where it could take me. But a lot of students that went to the school ended up not even pursuing culinary. They dropped out or they started doing something else. But I've always, I've always had that passion growing up, and just being able to learn new things and applying it to what I know or to my craft or whatever. Yeah, it was good times.
And then where'd you guys go from there?
Yeah, so culinary school, 2002, 2005. So after school, I ended up staying in the city, moving in with my ex-girlfriend there. She actually went to the culinary school as well, but she took the hospitality restaurant management program. So I was in the city for another 2 years while she was doing that. I was working, I want to say I was working like 3 jobs, dude.
Dang.
I was working at a hotel as like a head cook. Well, I was the only cook there, but I still put that on my application.
Yeah. Executive chef.
Yeah. So I was in charge of the bar food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was working there evenings. I had a bakery job at another hotel in the mornings, and then my third job was actually at a gym called Crunch Fitness, and I was working front of the desk front desk, and I was it was mostly for that, for like a free membership.
Yeah. Is that the one on the marina?
Yeah.
Yeah. On Chestnut?
It was on Chestnut.
Yeah.
I was working there, and I was working at the one on Polk Street, Alhambra.
Yeah. And like, there's a bunch of good restaurants right there too.
There was a bunch of really good restaurants that we would always hit up. I don't think it's there anymore, but it was a Korean spot. It was called Han's Barbecue.
Yep.
Yeah, super like affordable food, like a rice plate with like short ribs and meats and sides. It was bomb.
Yeah. There's some good spots down there. Then, so, what happened after that? Like, so now you're working 3 jobs.
Yeah, so I was working 3 jobs. I actually we broke up. Me and my girlfriend broke up at that time, at like towards her end of her days at school. And then, I was struggling with money, stuff like that. So then my manager at the gym, he asked me to become a salesperson. So he was telling me all the benefits, and full time, stuff like that, all the bonuses. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, see where that takes me, make some money, and just have fun. Because I was like pretty much like single at that time.
Yeah,
so I was just trying to search, find myself, and see where life takes me.
Yeah. Did you do any traveling or anything at that time? Probably not right then. Huh?
Not really. Maybe like from San Francisco to back home, San Jose. But just mostly just working and just like having fun in the city.
Yeah, and it's you kind of got into before we get into how you guys started Trifecta, what was kind of the break in between? So you're just starting to work, you have this culinary background. Where do you think it's, what are you, what are your like what's your outlook at this time?
So while I was working at the gym, I think I was there for I was in sales for probably like a year and a half to 2 years. I hated it, man. Just trying to sell people on the gym and going out and finding client or, members and stuff like that. It wasn't my thing. So I actually quit doing that. I moved back home. My cousin Leon, he was working at a sushi spot in Milpitas. This was 2007. So he got me a job working in the kitchen as a prep cook. So I was like doing tempura, prep, cooking rice, breaking down fish and stuff like that. And that's how I got into sushi from that point. I think one day he called in sick. And so the head sushi guy was like, his name was Tetsu. He was like, hey, I need your help because your cousin called in sick. So he was like, you need to come up and help me make sushi rolls. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm down because, working in the kitchen is hella hot. And, it's kind of boring. You're like stuck in the back, prepping, cooking all by yourself. So it was fun going out in the front. I was getting tipped out. I was getting sake shots. I was interacting with guests, so it was fun. It was a new environment, and I was able to, chat with people and just like,
Yeah, I think Ryan's referring to working on the front line, which means the kitchen's open, and then not every sushi bar, but typically every sushi bar there's kind of a showpiece. The refrigerator's up front, and you're making all the stuff up front. But yeah, I loved working the front line on an open kitchen because one, you are a little more disciplined because you can't just throw everything and make a mess. But then also like, you get your customers right in front sitting with you. Some you get regulars coming in all the time. And then, like tips and you learn from everyone too. And then you get to make some of their favorites when they come in.
Yeah, it was dope. It was so it was called Sushi Kai.
Okay.
Back in Milpitas. If you guys know Sushi Kai, that was the spot.
All right.
It was a sushi boat.
Oh, okay.
Which was pretty cool.
Okay.
It was kind of weird because we didn't really use the boat as much because people would just order through us and we would just, pass them the plates or whatever. But
it did have the revolving. Yeah. Okay.
It had all the water. Yeah, it was fun.
Nice. And then
cleaning it sucked though.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was nasty.
Yeah. And where'd you go from there?
So after Sushi Kai, after I got into sushi, I was like, I got into, I started working at this place called Michi's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll with it.
Michi's in Campbell. It was at that time. I think this was like 2008, 2009. It was probably one of the best or popular sushi spots out. There was like a lot of 49er players that would go in there. They had a lot of sushi rolls named after players. They had like this Jeff Garcia roll, the Trent Dilfer roll. So it was pretty. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's cool. I see 49. I mean, we're in the Bay Area, so we see a lot of Giants, SF Giants rolls, 49ers.
Yeah.
Typically with salmon, right?
Yeah. Salmon, hamachi, tuna. But yeah, I was there, that was my second sushi job, and I was actually there for quite a while. I met this guy named Anthony, this chef named Anthony. He actually was like a mentor to me at a young age, in my career. He was very strict, but he was funny. But he taught me a lot. And he just took me under his wings, and that location brought me to another. After working there, I was able to find another sushi spot. I think I started working at this place called Saigon Sushi. Saigon
Sushi. All right.
Yeah, Saigon Sushi. My friend Trish, she asked me to take over or help her open up this restaurant. I met her at Michi's through a friend. And this place was it was different, It was like a pho spot / sushi restaurant.
I was gonna say, yeah, you got half and half Vietnamese and Japanese.
So it was weird because we had two menus. We had a Vietnamese menu with pho and all the other stuff. What is it? Bo Lak Lak. I may be saying it wrong, so don't judge.
Don't add him. Don't add him for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had like shaking beef. They had garlic noodles. They had a lot of good food on that side.
Okay.
But I was in charge of the sushi side, and it was hard work. I was the only sushi guy there. It was open late night too.
Yeah.
Like Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, we were open till like 3 a.m.
Dang.
Yeah. I had a little cot upstairs. They built me like a little cot. So I would go up there during the slow hours or the off times and just nap and then come back and work. But it was tough because I didn't last there too long because it was just the hours were crazy. And then dealing with drunk people
it's never fun.
It's never fun, man. I remember like there was times where I was busy at night and I had rolls like ready to send out to tables, and these guests, they were drunk and they would just grab all these rolls off my counter, and I'm like, bro,
can't do that. Yeah.
So I didn't last that long.
So where'd you go from there?
So after Saigon Sushi, where did I go? I went back to Michi's for a little bit, just because it was there on the table. Mm-hmm. And then after Michi's, I left and I went to, I started working at the airport. San Jose Airport, Terminal A. Mm-hmm. There was a spot called Sora's Sushi, and I was there for about a year or so, doing sushi at the airport. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I met some famous people there. Kenny G stopped by.
Nice.
Yeah, some 49er players stopped by.
Nice.
But yeah, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, you never know who you're going to run into at the airport, for sure.
Yeah. And then after the airport, I started working at this buy one, get one free spot in Fremont. It was called Tango Sushi.
I heard about this spot. You were talking about it at your pop-up, and buy one, get one free.
Oh, man, it was terrible.
How can you, tell us about this system, and then we'll move on to all the good stuff that you got into later.
Yeah, so the buy one get one free, it was only available for dinner time.
Okay.
It was me and this other chef. His name was Jimmy. Yeah, and we would just, make all these rolls. Like we would have like for instance, like a couple would come in, 2 people, and they would order like 10 rolls. And it's like, bro, you can eat all 10 rolls, dude. Like,
so they're buying 5 and then getting
5
free.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It was ridiculous. But it was fun though, because we were able to, drink on the job and have fun. But he ended up leaving me for a week. Well, he left. He bounced, and then he didn't really tell me when he was gonna leave. And the first night when I was by myself was, oh man, it was terrible, dude. I was going.
I can imagine. Yeah.
I had hella rolls. The owner, he was actually putting the rice on the nori for me, and I would just finish it up.
Finish them all off.
And then eventually I had my cousin Leon and Jason. They came and helped out for a little bit. And then my brother Bradley, he came and helped for a few times when Leon, he actually broke his ankle rollerblading. And I was stuck at the restaurant by myself a few days. And so then I asked my brother to come help me out. And he came, helped me out, and he was just learning the basics and stuff like that. And then, and then after a couple years or a year and a half working into that place, the owner, he sold his business to a new sushi owner. And the new guy, the new owner, he was changing stuff up. So I was like, it's time for me to bounce. So I ended up going to, I think this was Sushi Confidential. So Randy, I used to work with him at Michi's, and he asked me to help him set up a sushi bar, a sushi program at his restaurant in Campbell. I was there for 3 years. This was 2000, I want to say 2010, 2013, 2009, 2011, around that time. And basically I was in charge of the sushi bar, hiring, doing all that. Gained a lot of experience, back in managerial, stuff like that, manager side. And, I got kind of bored, after my third year, I got really bored because it just felt like I was just babysitting, And
you weren't cooking as much, right?
I was on the line, making rolls, but it was just, I wasn't, learning anything else.
Yeah.
And I wanted to learn more and get better. And I just felt like at that time it was a good time for me to leave and find something different. So I actually applied to Morimoto and Uchi in Austin. Uchi was a very interesting spot because I used to watch Top Chef when it first came out when I was living in the city.
Yeah.
There was a Filipino chef, Paul Cui. He was, this was the Austin season, and he actually won that season. But he was a sushi chef at Uchi. And, I looked into Uchi, and it was an upcoming spot. And I applied there, and I applied at Morimoto, and I was like, whoever calls me to come, I'll go there. Uchi never called me, so I went to Morimoto. Morimoto hit me up. They're like,
this is Napa, right?
Yeah, this is Morimoto Napa. Morimoto, they hit me up. They asked me to come and do a stage to try out, see if I was, if I was good enough, and if I enjoyed, or if I wanted to work there as well. And so I went. I did a stage. It was nerve-wracking, man. I was so scared or nervous. But they asked me to make a roll, and then nigiris, and then cut some fish for sashimi. And I remember presenting that, making that. It was terrible. It was it wasn't my best work. And so I sent that out. Chef, our executive chef, sushi chef at that time, his name was Ichi-san. He was a young chef that that was at Morimoto for, I want to say maybe like 6-7 years before I got there.
Mm-hmm.
And so he asked me to come back if I wanted to. He asked me to come work there, but I would have to like start, from the bottom, and work my way up. So that was it was a good experience, and I was all up for it. Starting from the bottom, working my way up, just because I feel like as a chef, it's always good to know the prep.
Yeah.
Because if you just start working the line, you run out of something, you don't know how to prepare it.
Yeah.
So it was a good move for me to go to Morimoto. Learned a lot. It made me appreciate the craft even more.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some clean presentation.
Yeah,
and I think that's where a lot of your stuff comes from.
Morimoto. I met a lot of great chefs working there. Chefs from Japan with over 30 years experience. So that place really like humbled me. Because when I first started, I thought I knew a lot going in there, and then working along, these chefs, especially Morimoto. Yeah, that it humbled me really fast.
Yeah, what was it like working with Iron Chef Morimoto?
Oh, Iron Chef. Oh, it was nerve-wracking, man. It was crazy. I always tell people Morimoto is a diva working with him. I mean, he was always yelling, but that's.
But also, like, because he's there, everyone levels up, right?
Everyone levels up. Everyone's like, all the chefs are like, make sure you sharpen your knives, make sure you come in on time, make sure your preps, up to par, you're set.
Yeah,
pretty much. So it was a good experience.
Amazing food. I've been to Morimoto of all the odd locations in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I think those were one of the first ones too.
Yeah. So that's the one I've been to.
But what's cool about the one in Napa, is his flagship store. So everyone that comes in and train, or when he opens up new restaurants, he'll have all the chefs come in there and train, and they would then they
can go out to the next location.
So it'd be like the standard.
Nice.
Yeah.
A little university.
Yeah.
Sushi university.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool, like meeting all these chefs, transferring to all these other locations. So it was great.
Yeah, that's an awesome place to be. After that, you went to another awesome spot.
Yeah. So after Morimoto, I started working with my cousin at Village Sake in Fairfax. Chef Scott and his partner Scott. He's Scott the firefighter. They both opened up that location in Fairfax, hometown for them. But Chef Scott, he was the executive chef at Sushi Ron, where they received, I think it was 2 stars or 1, but they had recognition for a star. Is
that in Sausalito?
Sausalito, yeah.
Yeah.
Over in Sausalito. Mm-hmm. So we started working there. Our buddy Roger that we met at Morimoto, he asked us to come help open up that location. That restaurant was izakaya. It was like a 45, 50 seat izakaya restaurant. He had a lot of good dishes, great sushi. It was in a small little town in Fairfax. It was pretty dope. I think they got recognition. They got the Bib Award.
Bib Gourmand.
They
from Michelin.
Since they first opened, I think they still have that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If you're ever in that area, go check it out. I mean, it's worth the drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sausalito's nice too.
Yeah. I didn't really last too long there because we were actually commuting from San Jose to Fairfax.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, that's
like an hour and a half.
That's an hour. Yeah, one way.
Opening of a restaurant, man, you're there like all day. So it was like, I think the first couple of months we were there 6-7 days a week from like 9 in the morning to like 2 and then driving back home.
Yeah, that's a beast.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was, a lot of Rochambeau who's driving.
Yeah, I bet. And so this is kind of like right at the, kind of the, I guess, apex of when you guys about to start your own thing, right?
After this? Pretty much. I mean, we did a few pop-ups in Fairfax at Village Sake. I think we did 2 or 3. And we kind of enjoyed doing those kind of things, those events. And then after I left there, I went back to Sushi Confidential just because it was there and it was easy money. And then we wanted to start our own thing and just do pop-ups. We were doing dinners in San Francisco. There was this platform called Feastly. So they had like 3 venues in the city, and they had a network of people on their website or on their platform, and chefs would basically post their menus, and then their members on their website would pick, or if pick out menus or pick out what food they would like to eat. And we were able to get on there. We were doing dinners on the weekends while we were still working our job. We were working our jobs at the restaurant. So at that time I was at Nobu. I started working at Nobu. I helped open up Nobu in Palo Alto. This was 2016. I was working, Monday through Friday at Nobu, and then on the weekends I would have off to do these dinners. And we had a ghost kitchen in San Jose off Brokaw called Amy's Kitchen. And we would just basically go, start in the morning, like at 6, 7 in the morning, do our prep, drive up to the city, set up, do service, then break down, and then come back to the kitchen, unload, and then head home. And it'd be like long days from 7 to 3 in the morning. Some nights we'd have 2, 3, 4 guests, and then some nights we would have a full house. But that was our grind for the next year or so.
Yeah, that's serious grind right there. Yeah. I mean, I give you guys a lot of props. I mean, people need to hear that so that they understand what it takes to put together, such good food service. And then at what point did you decide to break off on your own and you guys started to do your own company?
Yeah, so 2017, I think I was about a year into Nobu. We were getting a lot of inquiries for in-home catering. So we were doing that. We were getting a lot of traction. So I quit Nobu, started doing that. I think 2017 we were doing really good. We actually were in this food competition. It was at Eastridge Mall, so it was 2 minutes from my house. It was called Taste for the Space. So basically, the winner of the competition would get a restaurant space in Eastridge.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah. So they would.
Oh, that's cool.
They paid for they paid for the equipment. They would set you up. All you had to do was sign a lease and make payment, for rent. Just pay rent.
Yeah.
It was cool because there was I want to say there was over 15 competitors, and these competitors, they had restaurants, they had food trucks, well established.
Yeah.
And it was just me, my cousin, and then another buddy of ours from Morimoto that did this event. And we had my cousin, Michael, Aaron, Louis, and my brother were helping out. And we actually won the competition. We did a smoked hamachi taco. It was funny because while we were getting ready to, present our food, we were super relaxed, just hanging out, tossing, playing catch with the football, while everyone else was prepping and getting all serious. We were just having fun.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know it, we won the competition.
Awesome.
It was pretty dope.
So then you got a space in Eastridge.
Yeah, so we ended up getting a space in Eastridge, but we declined the offer just because it was It was crazy because this was like 2018, 2019. It was supposed to open. And rent, they were asking like a lot for rent. I think it was like 15 grand for rent.
Oh,
at Eastridge Mall.
yeah.
And we're like, no, we ain't trying to be at Eastridge for 15 grand for like a 10-year lease.
That's crazy.
I was like, no, we shouldn't be. This is too much. So we decided not to do that. But we did get a lot of marketing off that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Got some notoriety.
Yeah. And then after that went on, we actually, continued to cater and continued to do a lot of parties. And then 2019, we rented out a loft in San Jose. And then we converted that loft into like a dining space where we were able to seat like 20, 25 guests a night. We would do that Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. We had a buddy who DJ'd. His name is Pat. Our buddy Pat, Flo Keys. Shout out to Flo Keys.
Flo Keys. Yeah, I had this down. I mean, this was in San Jose, right? You guys had a loft. I mean, you guys are doing pop-up dinners.
Yeah.
You're doing like tastings pretty much, right?
Yeah, we were doing tastings, man. It was crazy.
Kind of the start of Trifecta Cooks.
Yeah, we were doing a lot of tastings like Friday. It felt like we were busy, like we were booked all year.
Yeah.
Which is pretty dope.
And that sounds fun too with the live DJ coming through.
Yeah, man, live DJ. We had a lot of alcohol. It still like surprises me how we didn't get in trouble for all that loud music. We ended up
serve them some sushi.
Yeah, we ended up surviving a year there.
Awesome.
After our year there, we met this sushi owner. He came to one of our dinners. He enjoyed our food, and he asked us to take over one of his restaurants in San Mateo. This was 2019, so we took over 2020.
Okay.
This place was called In Show in San Mateo off of Hillsdale. It was like in the plaza with the Marina Market. Small little spot. There was like a ramen spot next door that we took over as well. Yeah, man, we were killing it the first 3 months, 2020, and then COVID hit.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, I put so much money into that location. And it's funny because, we also had another opportunity. We had another restaurant at the same time too. So basically the owner had a third restaurant in Fremont. It was called Kaiseki. And he asked us to take over that as well. At that time, I had my cousin Jason, my brother, and my other cousins helping out too. So I was like, why don't we split off? I'll take care of In-Show, go take care of Kaiseki, and let's see where this takes us. And then COVID hit, messed everything up. Put in so much money, some time into both locations, and it just ended up not working out for us. Had to let it go in 2021, beginning of 2021. And then I just got out of the restaurant scene. I got, the restaurant scene at that time, it was very depressing.
Yeah.
Everything was like to go.
Especially at that time.
Yeah.
When the food, the kind of food that Ryan could put out and throw it into a to-go box is just not, the greatest thing to see, And I mean, some restaurants did okay because they had a to-go model. But I mean, if you were not a to-go place, where many places weren't, they suffered and they're gone. So that's a tough pill to swallow right there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Especially because it was like a izakaya spot. So we had a lot of fried items.
Yeah.
And man, I remember Yelp diners or whatever, they were bashing us about the fried stuff, like how it'd be all soggy by the time they get to their homes. But it
doesn't travel well,
I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, bro, how are you gonna order?
Yeah,
fried food to go.
Yeah, and then what's kind of cool is to kind of get out of that depressing mode of the restaurant scene during the pandemic, you got into woodworking. Yeah,
so I got into woodworking. It was very therapeutic. I went down that YouTube rabbit hole. I've always wanted to, have a tasting bar. I've always wanted to work at an omakase. And I was like, what if, I imagined like, what if I did build a tasting bar and see where it takes me. So yeah, I just did a lot of woodworking. I broke a lot of tools. My dad had like pretty much everything. They're all old school stuff. So I ended up breaking the majority of them. Just trial and error.
Trying everything.
I mean, I took a wood shop class in middle school.
Yeah.
But never really continued that.
Stick the YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah.
The YouTube masterclass.
Yep.
So yeah, and I mean, we're sitting, and now we're sitting in one of your, your tasting spot where there are 3 tables you built right here, right?
Yeah.
Including the front of this place too.
Yeah. A lot of work, a lot of sanding on these tables.
And I think you always I see you posting sometimes on your stories is like the guy that does like this because I don't know if that's the style, but the skateboards.
Yeah.
He takes old skateboards, compresses them, and then makes stuff out of it.
Makes furniture, tables. Yeah,
that's kind of the inspiration you have on these tables, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't able to find skateboards, but plywood was the next closest thing.
Yeah. You guys can't see it, but it's got a really cool pattern from what Ryan made. And I mean, that's what's cool too, is like, people come here and they have a tasting and you're like, oh, these are nice tables. Who made these? And you're like, I did. You mean the guy making sushi made these tables? Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So you got into woodworking, and I know you're still playing around with it. You're still doing different stuff. And then, tell us about this spot and how it came about. Kind of share the crew that you have. I mean, you mentioned them, but kind of tell us the core crew of Trifecta, and then where you guys, we'll go over a little bit of your menu, because you have a really vast, all your experience has really kind of opened it to almost anything. Like, we can get into all that other stuff, but like, yeah, just kind of give us that, and we'll get into some more of your offerings.
So while I was going through this stage, the woodworking stage or whatnot, I needed income to buy tools and to buy lumber. So I started slanging sushi out of my garage, sushi boxes. At that time, a lot of people were selling food from home. Mm-hmm. And so I got into doing that, and it kind of blew up. I started doing more platters, sushi platters. I was still catering for old clients, and I was able to save enough money. And I thought about, going back and finding a spot to see if I can continue on. Because I never really wanted to quit, but it was just at that time, like it wasn't panning out. The craft for sushi, I've always had a passion for it. So,
yeah, but it kind of gave you like a break, even though it was a forced break, mm-hmm. but it kind of just gave you time to step back and then go, okay, what do I really want to do? Oh, I want to do more omakase style dinners, and and then it's kind of high end sushi.
Yeah, going through that time, a lot of to-goes, a lot of restaurants I was looking at, they were doing omakases. It was like kind of coming up at that time. It was getting popular, and so I've always wanted to open up a tasting bar, but I never really wanted to. At that time, I was like, I don't want to work for anybody. So I was like, I'm gonna build a tasting bar, try to find a space where I can, do that. And 2021, or 2022, I found this spot on Craigslist. Tina, she was going through the same situation I was with her clients. She lost most of her clients because she was catering for tech companies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so, they started, all the employees started working from home. And so she had to find, another route. And so she started working for families. So she has like 3 families that she cooks for. And so she didn't really need the space. So I told her what I wanted to do, continue to do takeout, catering, and I told her I was gonna try to build a bar. And it took me like 6 months to get a bar set up, like a DIY, man. It was terrible.
It didn't look like this.
It didn't look like this.
Okay. Yeah. And what you're seeing behind us too, and where we're actually sitting where the chefs work. So like where you guys make the sushi right in front of everybody, or whatever else is on the menu, whether you're torching some Wagyu or whatever else is going on right here. But this is where we're at. So if you look behind us, you got some of their knives, you got some of their serving dishes, and then that's kind of the space we're in. And then in front of us, we have 3 high tables that offer all the we have customers.
We just started doing sushi classes too.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to take one, and I've told Ryan. So the way we know each other is kind of cool too. It goes back about almost 2 years now, which is kind of crazy, like a year and a half. And we met at Seisuke Knife's event in Japantown.
Yeah, that was dope.
That's 2022. So that's how we met, and it was just kind of a collaboration event of a bunch of people were there. You can see a bunch of group pictures from that event where we have a lot of friends came out of that event, which I think is really cool. Shout out to Tim Kyote, who ran the event. He was the CEO of Seisuke at the time. Put that together along with Chef 2 and a whole bunch of other of our friends eventually that we got together. It was kind of cool because that event showcases a lot of different things, whether it was Wagyu, you guys making adding to it, whether it was, I think you guys made did you guys do the hamachi at that time?
Yeah, we did. I think we did 3 dishes that night. We did the smoked hamachi tacos, we did a crudo, and then we did a Wagyu dish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that event, which was kind of cool, and I didn't really get to hang out with you guys that much. Most of us had stations to work at. I was helping Chef 2 that night, and then which was kind of cool because I had taken a long break from doing any food service. I cooked for 5 years professionally, then got into customer service. Then, as you know, I was in law enforcement for 15 years before I ended up retiring out of that. And, here I am doing back into food, talking to people about their origin stories. And so going from that event, then we started, getting in touch with my buddy Sean, who is our buddy, mutual buddy Sean from Papa Wagyu. Shout out to him.
Sean. Shout out to Papa.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast. So if you want to hear his story, he's been on. And then we just started, getting together, doing some events. We did, we've done some golf tournaments events with Hammond Entertainment. Shout out to Bill Hammond, and with Caviar Co. as well.
Yeah.
So Petra from Caviar Co. And then just kind of doing all these different things we've done. The reason I'm mentioning these events is because I've watched what Ryan's product is coming, what your crew is being put out, and of course the hamachi taco goes over very, very well, easily. It's, one of your probably signature things to make. But I think, what I like is that you can make anything. You're like, oh, you don't like uni? We got, we'll give you something else,
Yeah, always different options.
Yeah.
Choices, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's been fun for me to tell you, it's a thank you for allowing me to help come. And I love filling in the gaps wherever. And just, Caviar Day was crazy. There's 350 people there, I think, or more.
Yeah, that was wild.
And we had to do, I don't know, how many skewers did we put together?
600.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nonstop.
Yeah. And that's just the skewers, right?
That's just the skewers. We did 1,200 oysters.
1,200 oysters. And how many hamachi no, those were Wagyu tacos, right?
We did no, they were hamachi. I think they were hamachi or Wagyu. I think they were Wagyu. Yeah, Wagyu tacos. We did Wagyu tacos and we did a vegetarian taco. But yeah, we did, I want to say we did over 1,000.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah, it was a wild one. It was busy.
Yeah, but that was kind of, that's kind of the intro to me to you guys, is finding out, hey, these guys are capable of doing a tiny dinner where you guys do a private event at somebody's house, to serving, 300 plus. What'd you do? You had an event recently, like a month ago, maybe or more. How many nigiris did you guys make?
Oh, that one we did over, I want to say close to 2,000 pieces nigiris.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a holiday party for a company, law firm. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
It was nerve wracking because my brother, I had my brother in charge of the rice, and I was on our way there. I was asking him, "Hey, did you make enough rice?" And he was thinking about it, calculating it. He was like, "Oh shit, I don't think we have enough rice." So, it was at first it was rough. I had to travel back and forth from the venue back to the kitchen. Luckily, it was only like 15, 20 minutes away. It was in Menlo Park.
Okay.
So we were able to, make that happen, and we killed it. Shout out to Lally at Lally Events.
Yeah.
We had a good time. Everyone enjoyed the food. It was, at first it was crazy. I thought we were gonna go down, but we pulled it off.
No, you guys know how to crush it. And yeah, so like you're doing, as we do this podcast, Ryan's coming up on a new project. But before we close that chapter, tell us what you guys have been doing. Tell us some of the items on the menu. Share some of the things you create.
Yeah, so at our tastings, we do a lot of. I want to say like omakase kind of style. We do nigiris. We do some small plates, some crudos, salads, yakitori. We use a lot of wagyu. Sean from Papa Wagyu hooks it up. A lot of caviar from Caviar Co. Truffles from Velarde Farms. So we try to incorporate a lot of what we like to eat with our experiences at the restaurants we used to work at, and incorporate a lot of Filipino ingredients. But yeah, we just try to have fun and offer stuff that we love to enjoy eating.
Yeah,
nothing too crazy.
Yeah, but you also get into like dry aging fish too, which is cool. The dry agers over there in the corner.
Yeah, dry aging has gotten very popular lately. I wanted to tap into it and see how I can incorporate that into the business. And since getting one, it really helped a lot. Getting a lot of good reviews. Preserving the fish and whatnot, and just being able to do a lot of R&D.
Can you just quick explain that to someone that's never heard of a dry aged fish for sushi?
So dry aging is similar to like dry aging meat.
Yeah.
So the dry ager basically it will preserve the fish. It will draw out all the impurities, so you get like a more concentrated flavor. Works well with a lot of fatty fish. And then, it's all trial and error. We've been dry aging a lot of like toro, bluefin tuna, barracuda is really good, very popular. Shima aji is probably like one of my favorites, striped jack.
Yeah.
I think I've done a cod one time, a cooked cod, which is really good. Ocean trout is really good too.
The ocean trout's really good.
But yeah, the dry ager that I have is very small, so I'm limited to the size. So I'm trying to save up for a bigger one.
Yeah, awesome. And then before we close anything out, you got some big things to announce, right?
Yeah, so we're actually moving into a new location. There's a sushi restaurant 2 minutes away from my house that I've been eyeing for like the past 10 years.
Oh.
I would go in every year and talk to the owner, be like, "Yo, you guys selling? You guys selling?" Early this year, August of last year, I went in and I was like, "Yo, you guys selling?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're ready to sell." So I jumped on that, talked to my brother, talked to my cousins, and they're all on board. So, we pulled that trigger, and our last day here in Sunnyvale is on the 31st. We'll be moving in February 1st and having our first tasting there on the 8th.
Nice.
So it's a lot of parts moving right now. Very busy and very stressful.
Yeah, I bet. And it's awesome, man. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I think a lot of us that know Chef Ryan and Trifecta, the crew, that they've been looking forward to a solid spot, a spot that's all your own.
Yeah.
To be able to do events, private stuff, all kinds of stuff is happening. We'll push all those details out. I think this podcast will come out like towards the end of this month, and then I'll get with you and we'll lay out all the stuff, and then you'll hear all that stuff on our social medias as well and stuff like that. A couple fun questions I usually ask before we close it out. Do you have a piece of gear that you love every day? You're like, this makes my life easier, either in the kitchen or out of the kitchen. But a lot of times for you, it's the kitchen. So is there something that, everyone could look at and go, oh, that's a cool tool, and this is why?
I don't know. Let's see. I don't know, cutting board.
Yeah.
The cutting board that I have is from Japan. It's like a rubber cutting board, super soft on your knives.
That's that big one, right?
Yeah, that
is
big
that
one.
off yellow?
It's the yellow one.
Okay.
I mean, they come in different sizes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't really have a favorite tool. I mean, knives are always cool.
Yeah. We got a bunch right there.
Yeah. But yeah,
I mean that's something people don't realize too. Soft cutting.
I got one. Fish tweezers. Yeah, I have these specific tweezers that I have. A friend of mine gave them to me. Sarah, shout out to Sarah. She gave it. She hooked me up. I think it was for my birthday. But they look like it's a fish tweezer, but it looks like a fish, shaped as a fish.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, it works. It works way better than most of the tweezers that I've used before, and it's probably like one of my favorite tools. Like I can't go to an event without it.
Yeah, and I think people, if you've never used them, they're kind of a wider tweezer, and they allow you to pull bones real easy out and then clean them up. Cool. Is there any local shout outs you want to give before we close out?
Oh, local shout outs?
Yeah.
Shout out to James. Milpitas Boxing.
Yeah.
Shout out to John Mac Barbecue.
Yep.
Shout out to Sean Papa Wagyu.
Yep.
Shout out to Anthony at Tomo Sushi. I mean, there's a bunch.
Yeah. Awesome. Then is your brother at Nobu?
Yeah, my brother, he's at Nobu. Him and my cousin Jason.
Yeah.
If you ever go to Nobu, ask for Bradley or Jason. They'll take care of you.
Awesome. And then I'll leave you the floor. You can say whatever you want, advice, anything you want to give, anything you want to say. It's all yours, man.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, on to the next chapter of this journey. It's been wild, It's been amazing. It's been fun. Met a lot of great people along the way, which helped, with me and with the business. So shout out to everyone that have been on this journey and are continuing to stay on the journey. Shout out to my family, my friends, all the support, all that means a lot. And I just can't wait to share the new spot with everyone and see where it takes us.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, hard work and, dedication and discipline. Don't give up on your dreams, just go for it. Make it count, make every day count.
Perfect. Where can everybody find you and, how they're keep up with you guys?
Yeah. Look us up on Instagram, Trifecta Cooks. You can find us at the new spot starting February 1st.
Yeah.
5665 Silver Creek Valley Road.
Boom. There it is.
We over there. Email us, trifectacooks@gmail.com. I mean.
And you guys will probably have a website for the restaurant at some point, right?
Yeah, we have a website right now, trifectacooks.catering. But I think, there's going to be a few changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, social media is where you can find us. Hit us up through the DM. Follow us if you're not.
Perfect. Thanks, Ryan.
For sure. Thank you, Dave.
We're out. Take care, everybody. as a quick reminder, the restaurants and gear talked about on each episode can be found on my website, foodoriginspodcast.com. I appreciate your support, and thanks for listening.